Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tales of Tigrosa. I'm your host, Sydney Foltz, coming at you from the Sacred Valley of Peru. And today we are going to dive into the story of how the unemployed angels saved my life. Now, for those who have never worked with unemployed angels before, I am telling you, this is probably the greatest life hack that you could ever access for your life. So there are thousands and thousands of unemployed angels in your surrounding area looking for work, looking to be of service, looking to help you out. But they will only come to help you out when you call upon their permission. So we've got the big guys, right? We've got Archangel Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, all those dudes. But a lot of the work that they're handling is kind of like big boy prayers, like, saving people from cancer, restoring good and unity on the world. Well, arguably all angels do that. But taking on like the much bigger cases like world disasters and natural disasters and things like that. So sometimes they are a little bit too busy and unavailable to take smaller requests. And this is where the unemployed angels come in. Now, saving my life is not a small request. But usually I like to work with these angels and I call upon them when I need just like little things done, like helping me find my car keys, helping me get a table at an overbooked restaurant, or maybe finding a really good parking spot, or just little tasks like that. Or helping rescue my bag that I left at TSA and get it to me safely. All those things. Those angels are here to help and support with the smaller tasks of life. But this is a story about how I asked for their help in a much bigger way. So July of 2022, this is when I was living in the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica in a little town called Puerto Viejo. And my friend Maya and I decided that we wanted to spend the day at the waterfalls. And it was funny because we were thinking about taking mushrooms and working with mushrooms that day, but we just had a last minute decision of like, nah, we're not feeling called to sit with mushrooms, which thank God, because that would have made this whole situation and story very interesting. So I picked up my friend Maya and we're driving to the waterfalls. Now, to explain where these specific waterfalls are, they're called the Bribri Falls. And it's about a 35-minute drive from Puerto Viejo. You drive into the Bribri town, make your way through the center, and then kind of go on this adventurous driving trail to get to the spot where you then hike down to the waterfall. This trail has like 2 creeks you got to drive over, lots of boulders you kind of got to dodge. It's a very classic Costa Rica driving experience. And these falls, I had been to them many, many times and have always had the most blissful, ecstatic experiences ever. But these waterfalls were known to be a place where a lot of theft, robbery, and violence went down. But I had never experienced that. So, we went to the falls feeling totally safe and held and taken care of, which we were. So I remember I parked my car at the spot and I just had this feeling. I was like, you know what? I think I should leave my phone, my wallet, and my passport locked in the glove box. So I did that. And I took my keys with me and just a backpack with some clothes. And we made our hike down to the waterfall. Beautiful day. The sun is shining. The falls are strong. There's a couple other groups who were also hanging out at the waterfalls. And I remember Maya and I just had the most amazing day where we just got naked. We bathed in the river. We laughed. We played. We joked. We sat on the rocks and just absorbed the beautiful sunshine. It was a really nourishing day. But I remember as I was on the rock, absorbing the sunshine and having kind of like a goddess moment, I saw 2 men in the bushes kind of watching us. And I was like, I remember I caught their eye and they kind of ran away. And I was like, dang, not a good sign. So I remember I put my bathing suit on, and after a couple more moments, the sun was starting to set. Not starting to set, but it was like almost beginning to start its process of setting and descending. And, one group had already left and there was another group chilling there. And Maya and I had decided we were feeling complete with the falls and it was time to go. So Maya and I were hiking back to the car. And on our hike there, we saw 2 men with underwear covering their face with big ass machetes. and they were coming towards us. And Maya's thought at the time was, oh, how sweet. They're tending to the trail. And in my body and soul, I was like, they're not tending to the trail. Like, they're coming to get us. And so all of a sudden they come up to us. They're like holding the machetes in our face. And they're like, dinero, 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 which in Spanish means money. And I was like, no tengo nada, like no tenemos dinero. Like we really had nothing. Maya had her phone. And all of a sudden they started attacking us. So each man grabbed Maya and I. And I remember I had this moment, like this just like badass moment where I just like was somehow able to break free and I started booking it towards the car. But then I turned behind me and I saw that these guys had Maya by her dreads and was like, I don't know, it was a really scary situation where they were just kind of getting violent with her. And I was like, oh man, I can't leave my friend. So I started to run back. Now at this point, Maya had willingly surrendered her phone. She was like, take the phone. I don't want it. Like just gave them everything she had, which was her phone. And I remember I'm running back and then they like look at each other and they run towards me. All of a sudden, one's got me pinned behind the arms while the other takes the machete and ever so effortlessly just slices it off my back. And these guys start booking it. And I start running after them because in my backpack are my car keys, right? It's starting to get dark. Maya and I would have had no way to get home. Like it was a long hike into town, a dangerous hike into town. And also my passport, my keys, or not my keys, my phone and my wallet were all in my car. Like everything that I needed was in there. And, you know, this was a week before I was leaving for my trip to Peru, basically the trip that like, you know, changed the trajectory of my life and had me move to Peru. So I was like, there's no way I'm missing this trip. Like, there's no way they're going to get this. So I'm running after them. And I keep yelling like, mis llaves, mis llaves, mis llaves, which in Spanish means my keys, my keys, my keys. And I'm running after this guy. And I guess Maya was like, well, I'm not going to leave my friend. So I guess I'll run after her too. So Maya's running after me. I'm running after the guys. And, you know, he's running, he's booking it. And I'm like, full sprint ahead, like eye on the prize. I'm getting my keys back. And I remember he even like looked behind and he was like, oh my God, this bitch won't stop. And so I'm running. And then all of a sudden, as I'm running, I put my hands in prayer and I call upon any and all unemployed angels in the area that are looking for work. I ask for your loving guidance and support to ensure that Maya and I get to my car safely, that we make it back to Puerto Viejo safely, that my car is untouched, and that all of the belongings in my car are safe and protected. Boom, sent the prayer. Not even 10 seconds later, and Maya is a sacred witness to this, the man turns around, unzips the pocket of my backpack, dangles the keys in front of my face, and then throws them in the river. So then I go and I run up into that river and I'm digging, I'm searching, and I find my keys. So we make our way back to my car, which is untouched, but they had barricaded my car so that we couldn't drive out with like big trees and big logs. And I remember I was really scared at this point. Like I was in a total fight or flight. I was actually in fight, but I was like dysregulated beyond belief. And I remember Maya just looked at me and was like, we're the only ones here. Like we gotta remove, you know, these logs. And so I remember like she started, you know, she was like yelling in Spanish, like, you took everything we have. We're just trying to get home safely, as she's like removing the logs and the trees from the road. I'm like in the car looking at every single mirror, like trying to see, you know, if anyone's coming. Eventually, we did move the logs and we did make it back to Puerto Viejo safely. Very ungrounded, but we were safe. And yeah, I had everything I needed, you know, my phone, my wallet, and my keys. So I share this story for many different reasons, but I think the most important one is to remind you that you have all the help and support you could ever need. And next time you're in a little bit of a pickle, whether it's you're trying to get your car keys back from someone who robbed you and get home safely, or even if you're just looking for a good parking spot, you can always call and depend upon the unemployed angels for any task that you like. Now, I invite you to give the unemployed angels some beautiful tasks, some beautiful love, some gratitude and support, and let me know how it goes. You're welcome.